If you're going through something really hard right now, you're in the right spot. You were directed here for a reason. It's no coincidence that you found this video. It's actually serendipitous. Maybe you're going through some huge financial crisis, a job loss, a really difficult diagnosis, or a breakup, heartbreak, just some sort of catastrophe, or maybe an existential crisis, a dark night of the soul. You're just like going through something, and maybe you're new on the spiritual path, or maybe you've been on the path for a while, and you're just in this like dark, groundless, uncertain, just kind of in the dead of the sea place. You don't feel like you have any grounding. Everywhere you look, it looks uncertain. You can't really see the next step. You're just sitting there idle, or maybe wading through the water, but you can't see the land ahead, or it feels very distant. These are really sacred moments. They're really, really special parts of the path that we can't skip. And everybody goes through this. Sometimes it's one big one, and sometimes it's several small ones. Sometimes it's like a quarter life crisis, and then a midlife crisis, and then an end of life crisis. Maybe it's like every decade or every 7-8 years, you just go through these big transitions or metamorphosis where you're on a path for a while, and then all of a sudden it feels like everything's just like hit a dead end, or it's crumbling. If you can relate, listen up, because I got a message for you. I've been going through the same thing. Candace. Who I really am is not Candace, and that's a really important piece of this as I talk about non-duality and oneness, and most of all, our divinity. But these moments, I find, are often the very moments that push us into our spiritual awakening, our spiritual breakthrough. And they're often the catalyst of a really great big change, and often a big shift in the direction. We think we're going this way, and then all of a sudden something happens and it detours us this way. We thought we had everything on track for our business to grow, and then it goes this way. We thought we were in the marriage of our dreams, and then it crumbles. We thought we were doing everything we could to be healthy and strong and fit and vital, and then we get a diagnosis. And we think that we're doing everything to be a great person, to thrive, to manifest, to up-level our life. And no matter how hard we try, no matter what we pray, no matter how many affirmations, positive thinking, mantras, it doesn't stop from anything from what's happening. You literally feel like you just can't hold on. It's slipping out of your hands day by day. All the efforts, all the applying for jobs, all the attempts to work on the marriage, all the vitamins, every workout, it's futile. It's not working. All the intentions to save oneself don't mean anything when these moments happen. And that's for good reason. It's like the caterpillar trying to prevent itself from going in the cocoon. If we could humanize and personalize what a caterpillar might feel, we might think that it's terrified. It's been eating and doing all it can to survive and put on weight, and sometimes it sheds its skin, and then it eats more, and it's used to being in this little garden and staying in this very specific area, and that's all it's known all of its life. It's just been doing this thing, hanging out with its neighbors in this very small circumference, eating, shedding some weight, eating more, shedding some weight, eating some more, and then all of a sudden it's drawn to go up. It's drawn to leave its comfort zone, and it's pulled into a whole new dynamic in which it nearly dies. All of a sudden it's being threaded inside this mechanism, and it sees its body and everything it's familiar with shedding. And no amount of prayer or affirmations, all of that is going to stop the metamorphosis from occurring, because this is what it's supposed to be. And little does it know that it is about to barely be able to breathe. Basically, it's just going to be left with a heartbeat and a subtle breath, while every part of itself is in transition. Maybe a few things remain similar, like its eyes, maybe antennas. I don't remember all the details, but very, very little of what it's known itself to be remains, while everything else decomposes and transforms. And so it's stuck. It just has to be. It just has to maybe surrender and accept and allow for what is, in this sacred moment where it is departed from everything else it knows, so it can do what's natural. And the same thing happens for us. Often these very challenging times leave us to be very isolated, and they cause us to depart from what's familiar. We're not physically able to go out and be social. We're just too tired. We're too triggered. We don't have the resources. It literally pushed us out of the nest so that we have to be on our own in a new and uncomfortable place. These moments force us to be out on the sea with no land in sight, just idle with our thoughts. These points lead us in a very inquisitive and introspective time on purpose. And what I have found is, for most of us, we resist the change at first. We don't want it. It's so uncomfortable because we have no control and we can't fully make sense of what's happening yet. There's just this immediate loss, usually very sudden, like a car accident or a diagnosis or an unexpected layoff. And so we're just in shock. And we're like, oh my God, I didn't know that my friend was going to die. I didn't know that this was going to happen. I'm in shock. Or I didn't expect that I would have to move so fast. My house caught on fire. I didn't expect I would have to figure my life out so fast. So we're in shock and we're puzzled, and our mind is trying to understand what the fuck just happened in myself. My body is not what it used to be. What? And so we're just trying to make sense, meanwhile collect life and get some grounding, in which that might not come for a while. And so we're angry and sad and depressed, maybe go to booze or drugs, sex, gamble, TV, overeat, starve, whatever it is. We might do whatever to avoid the feeling of out of control, insecurity, loss. We might go through that stage of just rebelling against it, fighting it, resisting it, wanting to fight back with whatever is occurring. And then after a while of feeling sad and feeling the turmoil and feeling in the darkest part, we might turn to spirituality. Or we might have known it, but we look deeper. And this is when a really, really special peace comes in, where we start asking, who am I in relationship to what's happened? Who Who am I that's affected and hurt? Who am I that's in pain? Who am I that's experiencing this? And we might personify and relate the character and say, well, I'm Candace going through this experience with this other person. But often we find that that doesn't satisfy. We have to go deeper. And we go into who is Candace, who's this body, what does this all mean, what is my purpose, why am I here? And we just continue to go down the rabbit hole of who am I? And this is often when our soul beckons us in the darkest night to go as deep as possible, to look beyond the water when we're out at sea, and to say, who is that? Who created that? Who created this? Who created me? What is all this? And then we start looking for the divinity. We start looking beyond the thought. What's beyond all of this? And we start finding it's unanswerable. We might call it divine awareness, God, whatever, all these titles, all of which are great that point to it. But the real serenity is the silence, the unknowable parts of it, because it can't be grasped, it can't be tangibly understood. It's beyond logic. You just start experiencing it from the heart space. You experience it, you feel it, you just know. Even though I'm in the dark, I'm not alone, I'm one with this thing. Perhaps I am this thing. Perhaps I am watching life through the body, but I'm actually the essence and the spirit and the light, the silence behind the whole thing. I imagine the caterpillar goes through that, where it's on its last few breaths, and it just opens itself to the magic and wonder of the silence. It's departed from the world for a moment in its chrysalis. And we too, while we feel the unknowns and feel so vulnerable to the experience of life, we too are actually in a metaphysical chrysalis. With this invitation to go into our darkness and find the everlasting light that we really are. And as we find that light, that spirit, that inner knowing, we can start to welcome the events that are happening to the body, to the character. One by one, we can slowly say, yes, I agree. I accept and I understand that not having some money right now, not being comfortable is the best thing for this awakening. Because had I had it, I would never look. But not having it has caused me to go so deep and to find my real essence. The part of me that can never suffer, the part of me that's beyond suffering, the part that can never be hurt because it's eternal, the one that can never die, that was never born, the one that just is. Had I not gone through such catastrophe and calamity and turmoil, would I have ever found this? The body feels like it might die due to this diagnosis, but I now know that I can release the body and know that I won't die. I, the eternal I, is just always changing forms. and now is going to be a butterfly. May get a new body and a new life and a new experience. And I don't have to be afraid, because I, the divine I, is always going through change. Or the body is going through change. But I just sit back and watch. And so as we go through this, we can start to invite and accept and say, yes, I don't know when I'm going to reach land. I don't know when I'm going to feel better in the body. I don't know when things are going to feel stable again, but I accept this, and I know all is well. And I promise you, when you start saying yes to how it is right now, in this very moment, and then the next seemingly moment, and then the next seemingly moment, when you start saying, yes, I accept this, the suffering transforms. It becomes this like resistant pain that's often felt in the stomach or tension in the body, and it starts to break up and it starts to become light. It stops weighing you down. You start sleeping better. And you start experiencing life differently. Instead of it being this thing that feels like it's constantly opposing you, you start noticing it's all flowing with and for you. It becomes a synchronistic dance that's constantly moving with you. It may feel like a little push, but it's actually maybe pushing you exactly on a new path. And so you stop resisting. You stop saying, no, I don't want this. Actually, that job loss was the best thing that could have happened, because now I'm awake to my divinity, and I can just flow and allow life to go however it is going, because it's going to change over and over and over and over and over again, and I'm just here for the experience. Now I can be a butterfly that can fly beyond this tiny little garden I was in, and now I can go states and see life from a whole new perspective and just dance with life and flutter about. Just shoot the breeze and just watch and just love. You can just love people. You can just love the irritations. You can just be happy some things don't go your way, because that gives spice and flavor to life. You can just laugh at the silly comments people make to you, because you know none of it's personal. You can just look at it and just watch, because you just know that this life is just a dream and you're just playing in it. So why would you create all the characters to be the same? You would have them be a little bit sticky and funny and irritating and even sarcastic and mean sometimes, just to give it some flavor. So then you can just be a butterfly and you can just dance with it. And all of a sudden, you're not in a rush to get through your trials, because you understand you've got all of eternity as a divine being to play this game of life in all the infinite forms. So why would you rush this incarnation, this body, and this experience? Why would you rush it? Why would you not salivate and soak up this moment and eat it up in its entirety? So whatever you're going through, to alchemize it, to shapeshift it, and not to rush getting out of it, but to really enjoy it, make the very best of it, and see it through the eyes of God, because that's who you really are. So if you're broke as fuck, get creative. I'm telling you, you can get mad creative when you are broke. It brings some of the best ideas. Just follow the guidance, follow your intuition. And maybe being broke is telling you just to stop and rest. Take a fucking load off and chill out. Sleep 10 hours, sleep 12 hours, go for a lot of walks. Enjoy ramen, enjoy, simple meals. Experience what it's like to go to a homeless shelter and be the one being served. Try new experiences. I mean, you're God. You came here for all of that. So have fun with it, If you're sick and you're in the hospital and you have a bad diagnosis, let yourself be served. Let people care for you. Let people love on you and take care of you, dote on you. People want to help you. So, you're God. Just sit back and allow them to give to you. It doesn't make you less. Just experience it. Experience just the deep rest your body needs to heal. Be curious about what those diagnoses are trying to wake you up to. If you're in a crumbling relationship, if you can repair it and give love to that other person, do that. But if you can't, let this be a new love story for your incarnation. See yourself as the divine and watch yourself from just the deepest seat of love. Be so gentle. Be so tender with yourself. Both the incarnation and the body, but also just see yourself from a deep place of love, completeness, perfection. When you see yourself from harmony and love and completion, you can then see the world the same. It just is a natural byproduct to forgive and to accept and to understand others when you have understood and just love yourself. All you gotta do is love and understand yourself, and the rest just follows. You don't even have to try it forgiving or any of that. You just look at yourself with such deep love and gentleness, and the rest follows. Think of Groundhog's Day. It's quite simple. Just accept what is. Accept the shittiest days. The shittiest days make for some of the best movies, the best songs, the best laughter later. We love retelling those stories, how we got through the shittiest days. They make life so fucking juicy. So good. I believe God came here for that. He came in these limited incarnations to feel limitation, to feel sensitivity, to feel insecure. Because all it knows outside of this is security. It just is complete. So it has fun skinning its knees. It's a mystery. It's art. It's perfection. If you find yourself resisting and saying, fuck, I don't want this, it's okay. It's perfection too. You'll just go through that until you turn around and accept it. That's just what is. But there's real liberation in saying, I accept that I don't know where and what I'm gonna do and how tomorrow or even tonight's gonna play out. I'm scared to death. I'm scared. Just remember, the body and the mind are scared, but you, the eternal soul, is not. But you can accept that your character's scared. You can just love it. Just be with it. All is well. It really is. Don't rush the cocoon. It's a very beautiful and necessary part of the whole structure of this dream. And those wings and the dance of life will be there soon enough. So enjoy what is. Thank you.